Very few of us will ever be in the presence of what the world considers true greatness. For one moment, imagine that you had the opportunity to share a conversation with a true captain of industry, a celebrity who has reached the pinnacle of fame, maybe a billionaire who went from a startup to changing the industry. Or it could be an athlete who has achieved a Hall of Fame status, or a social media influencer who's reached millions of followers with just one post. If you had the chance to have a sit-down conversation with someone who has achieved this level of greatness and talk about anything that you wanted, what would you say to them? What would you want to gain from them? What's the one question that you would ask to glean from the mind of greatness? In the Gospels, the disciples had one such opportunity to have an intimate moment with the greatest human who ever walked the earth, their Rabbi Jesus. And of all the things they could have asked him about his ministry, they inquired about one thing specifically: the prayer habits of Jesus. In Luke chapter 11, after Jesus returned from his quiet moment with the Lord, they actually sat down and asked him, they said, "Lord, would you teach us to pray?" The disciples saw something different in the way that Jesus prayed. They wanted to know more about what fueled and sustained him. They longed to tap into the power that Jesus tapped into. They actually desired to have an intimacy with God as a father, just like Jesus experienced with his heavenly Father. Somehow they knew that prayer was at the center of every healing, at the center of every miracle and sermon and encounter that Jesus had with people. He was always slipping away to pray, and his prayers actually reached the Father. Jesus was a master, and he had clearly mastered the discipline of prayer. One author actually said about the 21st century church, he said, the evangelical church is slowly but surely giving up on prayer. In the midst of our lives of comfort and ease that we have designed for ourselves, I think many of us actually lack a desperation to prayer. And when we lack a desperation, we lose discipline. And when life does get desperate, and it will, we don't know how to pray. And if there's one thing the church should learn from Jesus, it's the discipline of a life of prayer. This semester, as a follower of Christ, we're going to go on a prayer journey with Jesus. You're not only going to learn what it is to pray and what it means to pray, but how to pray, as taught to us by Jesus himself. Like the disciples, when we ask him to teach us about how to pray, we're going to learn from his very words when he said, "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses." Join us on this 8-week group journey at Crossroads into intimacy with our Heavenly Father. We're going to learn how to pray together just as Jesus teaches us. As we investigate this model prayer that Jesus set for us, we'll discover why it truly is the most powerful prayer ever spoken.